Hi, boys and girls. Today's lesson is lesson 1-15, and it is called Multiply and Divide with 1 and 0. However, we're going to spend a little bit of time on that, but we're also going to go over some of the addition and multiplication properties. The commutative property, the associative property, identity property, and zero property. So we have a little bit to do today. Not going to be all that hard. And then we're going to send you off to work on whatever you can on your own. So let's go to the first page. Page 66. This talks about multiplication properties and division rules. Okay? So, property for 1 and division rule for 1. 1, the property for 1 is anything multiplied by 1 equals that number. Anything divided by 1 would equal that number. If a number is divided by itself, it'll equal 1. And if you continue over the zero property, anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Anything divided by that has 0 in the division is equal to 0. So underneath it, we see the associative property of multiplication. The associative property says when you group factors in different ways, the product stays the same. The parentheses tell you which numbers to multiply first. So when you see numbers in parentheses, you do them first. So you have 3 times 2 here first. Draw a little caret down or a little arrow down. Equals 6. You still multiply that by the 5. You get 30. So 6 times 5 is 30. But with the associative property, it takes that 6 and breaks it into 3 times 2, which means the exact same. The next one, you have 3 times 2 times 5 equals 30. So the same thing here. You have 3 and then 10, which is the product you get from multiplying 2 times 5, gives you 3 times 10 equals 30. They're just fun ways for you to break up what you have and see what you have as something different. So we're going to do 6 quick problems with the associative property of multiplication. So this right here is the same as 2 times 6. But instead we have 2 times 6 times 1. So you do the 6 times 1 first because you do what's in parentheses first. That equals 6. So you have 2 times 6 is 12. Next one, you do this first. You get 8. So that's the same thing as 8 times 2, which is 16. Here you have 1 and 5, which equals 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Next one, you have 9 times 8 is 72. Times nothing, which equals 72. 3 times 6 equals 18. And here you have 6 times 0, which equals 0. If I keep going down further, it says Sean gave 1 nickel to each of his sisters. If he gave away 3 nickels, how many sisters does Sean have? Alright, so if he gave away 3 nickels, it's asking how many nickels, or how many sisters does he have? So the best way to think about this is he gave away 1 nickel to each of his sisters. Okay? If he gave away 3 nickels, that means he gave away a nickel to each of his sisters. That tells you he has 3 sisters. Next one. Kara has 3 boxes. She put 0 toys in each boxes. How many toys are in the boxes? Well, it's kind of a easy one, but she has 3 boxes. So 1, 2, 3, and she's putting 0 toys in each. She's going to have 0 times 3, which equals 0 toys. No toys. And the last one, there are 3 tables in the library. Each table has 2 piles of books on it. If there were 3 books in each pile, how many books are on the table? Well, here's a good one using the associative property. You would have 3 tables, which that 3 would be represented there, and then you have 2 piles of books, 2 piles that have 3 books in each pile, so you have 3 times 6 then, which equals 18 books. Okay, let's get this page out of the way. Next page kind of goes over the the properties. In addition, the commutative property of addition, it means the order in which the numbers are added does not change their sum. Meaning you have 3 plus 5 here, and that means the exact same thing as 5 plus 3. Same if we have 4 plus 10 would equal the same thing as 10 plus 4. Just because it switches the numbers around, it doesn't change your answer. B, the associative property of addition. Kind of the same thing we just did with multiplication. Instead of saying 5 plus 5 equals 3 plus 7, we're breaking the 5 up into 3 plus 2 and putting them in parentheses. That way you do that first, to where these two equal the exact same on each side. Each equal 10. And the identity property of addition, if 0 is added to a number, the sum equals that number. So what that means is if you add 0 to it, any number plus 0 means the number doesn't change. So 3 plus 0 or a million plus 0, it still equals 3 or a million. All right, so for multiplication, it's very similar. The commutative property of multiplication means the same thing as the addition. If you have 3 times 5, it equals the exact same thing as 5 times 3. The associative property, it's similar to the addition too. 3 times 2 times 5 equals 3 times 2 times 5. Okay? These are all the same digits, and we're just putting them in different parentheses. And that would equal 10 here. This would equal 6 here. 6 times 5 is 30. 3 times 10 is 30. You just have to make sure on each side it equals the same, because the equal sign tells you that each side equals the same. The identity property of multiplication means the product of 1 and any number is that number. We went over that. And then the 0 property of any number multiplied by 0 is 0. Excuse me. All right, so it says write the letter of the property shown. Okay, so based on up front, you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Number 12 is 1 times 9. Okay, hopefully you know that it is the identity property because we are dealing with 1. So F. 13 is 5 plus, remember the addition, so we'd be on this side. 5 plus 6 plus 7 equals 5 plus 6 plus 7. Okay, hopefully you know that was the associative property, B. I want you to work on the next 4. I want you to pause it, work on them, then unpause it. All right, so hopefully for the next one you saw we have multiplication and a 0, so we have the G for this. Here we have a 0, but addition, so we have C for that. And here we have multiplication to where we have 3 times 9. Then over here we have 9 times 3. I don't know why they made us fill that in. So that would be the commutative property of multiplication. Then here we have, here we have the 2 times 1 times 3 equals 2 times 1 times 3. That would equal the last one we haven't done yet, the associative property for multiplication. All right, so we spent a lot of time going over those, but that's important to know those. There's definitely something I'd love for you to practice or study yourself, but I want you from this point on, I want you to work on the page on your own, this next page, and this is what we'll be working on in small groups. So get what you can get done on page 68, and then we'll talk about it in small group.